Good morning, everyone. Let's do some prayers before our Upanishad studies. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhur Swaha, Tatsavitra Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat, Asto Ma Satgamya, Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya, मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गम्य ओम सहना भवतु सहना भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहे तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहे ओम शांति 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 Let's open our books if you have them. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and we just started only a couple of weeks ago. And I've been telling you that it's a pretty deep Upanishad. We cannot just read it the way we would read any New Age book. This is a Shastra. So we got to just think deeply, what does that Rishi is trying to tell us? Okay. So first Kand, Madhu Kand, chapter 1 and section 2. That's where we are. And this is called Agni Brahman. So in this Agni Brahman, the topic is this creation. And Rishi is giving us a very systematic scheme of this world evolution. Where did this all come from? That's what Rishi is pondered upon. See, these days we do look at things, but do we go that deeply? Where did this come from? See, by analyzing all this, they could come up with these 5 great elements, Mahabhut. By analyzing like a scientist, they could figure it out that these 5 elements are everywhere in the Prakriti. Starting right from the unmanifested state of creation, which is often referred as death. And step by step, he's telling us how all of these emerged, which we call creation. How the embryo formed in the water. How the earth got formed. So all this creation, how did that happen? This is what we are going through. So we did the first verse of this second section. Let's look at the second verse of this section. Apaha ve arkaha tat yat apam sharaha asit tat samhanyat sa prithvi tasya abhavat tasyam ashramyat shrantasya he taptasya tasya tejah rasa nirvatah agni. And if you have the books, you have the meanings of all of these words. Apa. Apa means water. And there is a Prithvi word, which you know. Agni, Ras, Tap, Tej. So when we break them down, it's not that difficult to understand. But the philosophy behind all of this is we need to ponder upon it. Let's look at the literal translation. He says, water indeed is ark. Ark means brightness. Ark. That which was froth in the water solidified. that mass of solidified substance became the earth. Because of it, that means he, the creator, became tired. Then the luster and essence of the tired and distressed Prajapati turned into fire. Before we really proceed to understand the emergence of earth, we can understand the meaning of this mantra with the help of a mantra which we studied in Taittiriya Upanishad. Most of you have done the Taittiriya Upanishad with me. The first verse of the second chapter was, from the self, verily, space arose. From space, air. From air, fire. From fire, water. From water, the earth. From the earth, herbs. And from herbs, food. From food, semen. From semen, the person. So this is what we learned in the Taittiriya Upanishad. So analyzing this creation is done by all the rishis. We see it in Taittiriya Upanishad, we see it in Chandogya Upanishad, and other Upanishads too. Water is fire because it has emerged from fire. There are a lot of Vedic mantras like that. Water is the substratum for fire. Because nothing whatsoever would exist if the life principle had not come into manifestation. So in the order of creation, water principle follows soon after the emergence of fire. Water is the main principle on which this life subsists in the creation. So from water, earth was formed. That is, out of water sprang the embryonic state of the universe. See, we look at the water the way we see the water. Water in the well or water in the river, water in the lake, water in the ocean. But over here, water really means the cosmic water. When we read in the scriptures that Hiranyaksha submerged the earth into water, that is the water we are talking about over here. So this mantra states that which was froth in the water solidified. It means that the earth sprang up. This solidification was as a result of the internal and external heat, which must have been enveloping the whole atmosphere in the pre-embryonic state of the earth, the heat. We will see that later on in this Upanishad. It says that in the beginning, this world was just water. So when we discuss the cosmology in the Chandogya Upanishad, that is a conversation between Sanat Kumar and the Rishi Narad. He says it's just water that is solidified. That is the earth. And that is the atmosphere. That is the sky. All these are just water solidified. In the Aitreya Upanishad also, there's a mention of this, that right from the waters he drew forth and shaped a person. Right from the water. So the solid substance which was formed in water is earth, which is the fifth and the last principle actually. Water. So you remember, it's the space, air, fire, water, and earth. That is the order of manifestation. In its embryonic state, it must have been as big as an egg. Egg in Sanskrit language is also called and. Most probably the name Brahmand for universe, which we are familiar with, Brahm and the egg, is derived from this embryonic state of the universe. When the earth was as big as an egg, solid. After having created the earth, which was so tedious a process, the Prajapati, the creator, became tired. That's what this Rishi is saying. It is perhaps for this reason there's no sixth principle, only five. From the general knowledge of physics and through observation also, we know fully well that the whole universe is animated by one common principle. Through endless ages, this common principle has remained the same throughout, without any modification in its essential nature. So the statement that he became tired really opens up a new venue for thought and research. So the question comes to us, why he became tired? And how did it prevent the further emergence of the sixth principle? Why only Panchbhut? The projection of the earth was no small task for Prajapati. So naturally he became tired. Just like everyone becomes tired after working hard. And the tired and distressed as he was, his essence emerged from his body and the principle of fire was born. That's why this fire is the first born Viraj. And that is identified with the sum total of all the bodies, Viraj. So he possessed a body and organs. That's why the Samriti says he is the first embodied being. And Agni in this mantra stands for Viraj. And Sar means a mass of solid substance. It's almost like a cream of the milk, the cream. So this is to illustrate that the mind assumed denser and denser form, and all material objects of the earth were created from there. And he became tired because he had worked much. And he became distressed because he had become separated from the Supreme Self. His abode, the stable of the sacrificial horse, which we learnt in the first mantra. So Prajapati is called Brahma also, the creative power of Brahma. So the Brahma, the creator, began to move about, manifesting as the vital energy in this creation. And the vital energy is called Agni also. So from there, the lustre came out. So that means the Brahma functioned as prans in all beings. That vital energy is pran. And we'll see that in the next mantra, which deals with the further division of life. So Prajapati, as fire, divided itself in threefold ways as the sun, air, and fire. And death, which was one, when creation emerged, became multiplied. And that also vitalizing all through the sun, pervading all space through air, and sustaining all life in the beings through pran. So that's how all these elements, they are created by Prajapati, the Brahma. And that's how the division became. And that's how whatever we see outside in the manifested world became. So now this Rishi says in the mantra number 3, Sa Tredha Atmanam Vaye Krut Adityam Tritiyam Vayum Tritiyam Sa Eshaha Pranaha Tredha Vihita Tasye Shira Prachi Dik Imau Asau Cha Asau Cha Ath Asye Pushyam Pratichi Dik Skathav Asau Cha Asau Cha पार्श्वे दक्षिणा च उदीचिः च पृष्ठं द्यौ उदरम अंतरिक्षम उरा इयं स एषः प्रतिष्ठिता एवं विद्वान् यत्र क च एति तत् एव. So he, over here, he is the death. The Prajapati, when it became the death, divided himself threefold, making the sun the third in respect of fire and air, and the air third with respect to the fire and sun. Then he says the pran also divided itself threefold. Eastern direction is his head. Yonder one and the yonder one, northeast and southeast, are his two arms. Likewise, the western direction is his tail, the hind part. Yonder one and yonder one, northwest and southwest, are the thighs. Southern and northern directions are sides, like flanks. Sky is his back. The atmosphere is his belly. This earth is his chest. He is resting, standing firmly on the waters. Wherever the knower of this fact goes, there he has a resting place. He gets a resting place. So very first thing he says, death became divided threefold. That is the first part. Those divisions were the sun, that means the vital energy, fire, the life, and the air, space. You can also say that the whole creation during this period had become animated with these three gross factors. And naturally, the prana also became threefold. Prana is the pervading essence in the entire creation. There's no place where prana is not. Whenever any factor of creation is dealt with prana, or wherever we see the creation, we can say that prana is naturally included in it. So that means the prana is, sometimes we think it's only in our body. But this mind cannot function without prana. This intellect cannot function without prana. Prana is in the atmosphere. Prana is everywhere. So whenever any factor of creation is dealt with, the prana is naturally included in it. So when death was divided into three, sun, fire, and air, according to this mantra, prana also followed the same process of division. It became life in the sun. We know that how that prana from the sun vitalizes all things. Couple of days we don't see the sun. What happens to us? We feel more alive when we see the bright sun. So life in the sun vitalizes all things. Not only the human beings, we see that in the animals also. Even the pets in the house, they would love to sit wherever there's a sunny spot. The plants, you move them into the sunny place, you see them alive. And the life in the fire sustains the main life principle throughout the creation. Fire, that fire element. And the life in the air, space and light. So that's how the prana followed the same process of division. And this is what Tridha in this verse means. So divided into three. Now the question is, what is that death like, the death which we are talking about? Because this mantra is replying through a metaphor. This death. Eastern direction is its head. And go back, take your mind back to that Ashva, the horse. Northeast and southeast are its arms. Western direction is its tail, or the hind part. So tail over here means the horse tail. Because this horse is standing as a symbol of creation. Remember that. So like symbolically, this rishi is taking our mind towards this creation in the form of the horse. Okay. So the tail means the horse tail, horse standing as a symbol of creation in this first section. So northwest and southwest directions are its thighs. The southern and the northern directions are its two sides, right and left. Heaven is its back, like the back of a horse, projecting upward. Because whenever we talk about heaven, we always say up. So the upper portion. So the atmosphere or the intermediate space is the belly of this death. So the space is used to denote the belly for the simple reason that the endless worlds are contained only within the space. We talk about that 14 worlds, 7 above, 7 below. Where are they created? Where are they situated? In the space. Whether it's a Patal Lok or whether it's a Swarg Lok, they are all created or sustained in this space. Just like all food that is eaten is contained within the belly. So this Rishi is saying this whole space is like a belly. Everything is contained there. We look at this earth, our planet, very important to us. This is the planet we were born on this time around. So he says this is the chest or the breast. And where is it resting? It's resting on the waters. Because, and again, remember the water in a cosmic sense. Water. Because we know that it's quite true that for all life depends on water. Shruti also says, Evam ime lokaha apsuhu antaha. That means that these worlds are in the water. There's a cosmic water, and in that cosmic water, all these planets are there. All these worlds are there, not just the planet. The cosmic waters are supposed to be supporting the universe from endless ages. Remember that. Wherever a knower of this fact goes, he has a resting place then. That means that mind doesn't wander then. For the mind, there is something to grasp. So one who knows that the whole world of the universe is but the cosmic body of the Atma, he says he is revered everywhere. So that means this kind of a sage sees the oneness not just only in the family or in the country or on the planet, but even beyond planets too. Everywhere. Everything is situated and sustained by that one. That's why wherever he goes, he gets a place for resting. Otherwise, we feel restless. So he is revered also. A person we revere will offer a seat. A person who has this kind of a thinking, this kind of a expanded vision of oneness, of course will be revered and will feel that, hey, I am in the lap of God. No matter where I am, does not feel alone. And this is to glorify the knowledge of the emanation of the universe from the Atma in its threefold actually. There are threefold aspects we always talk about. Adhyatma, Adibhut, and Adidev. They are not created by somebody different. All of these aspects are part of that one. So now you see that the horse analogy, why he's giving it to us. Because back then, see, right now, just like we are in a computer age, everything is through the computer, hardware, software, chips, and this and that. Back then, horses, they used horses for everything. So he's giving, these sage is giving us an analogy where we can bring our mind that whether it's a tail of the horse or whether it's the top of the horse or the belly of the horse or the right leg or the left leg or the face, it's all part of that one. The same way this whole universe. And he doesn't go towards the human beings. He says even these planets, not just the planets, he talks about the lokas, all the worlds, they are all rested in what Prajapati created. Because this is a creation. So if there's a creation, there has to be a creator. And if somebody created something, he's saying that, yeah, he got tired. He is even going to that very personal level. Just like we get tired. So when we get tired, sometimes we do end up even saying, they say that words, you might find anger from the words of a person who was very tired. And that's like a fire. And this is the fire he's talking about. But this is all in manifestations from that unmanifested. So to me, I look at it that this beautiful creation, but let's focus on the creator. Or even go even beyond that the absolute, where the creator came about. Because Brahma is only one power of Brahma. So we got to connect with that Brahma by recognizing that this is all manifested by his power. So next week, we will look at the explanation of the fourth verse, because we have finished 3 verses. So fourth verse, and we'll see how he's explaining further. This is all about creation. And when we are done with this section, then we will talk about it more. Maybe it will make more sense to all of us. Because with our limited intelligence, we are trying to understand what these great minds have given it to us. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaye Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Om.